It is now the 3rd of June 2025 and I have 9 days to submit my visa application. Things are beginning to come together. It was definitely worth staying up super late for the last 2 nights in a row, getting through this headache, because I think I've gotten through most of it and most of the confusion. We will see how this goes, because I got rejected for all my master's applications, so that backup plan is not a possibility either.
This is me, with about 2 months before my French working holiday visa expires, in the process of applying for my next visa, before I realized that I needed to fly all the way back to Australia to get another one.
It is the 4th of June 2025 and everything has gone to shit.
I really thought I'd be able to find a way around that. This is the story about how I took every possible risk in order to get the next visa, and how much it all cost. Quick background on me and my situation. I'm Lashan from Sydney, Australia, and I've been living in France on a working holiday visa for almost a year now. It's a 1-year visa, I can't extend it, and I'm looking to stay longer. But also, I really don't want to have to fly all the way back to Australia and incur all the costs involved in order to do it. So I tried, hit an error on their website, and when I emailed my prefecture about mailing all my documents directly, got a response where they point blank cited the law against me, saying I could not change status while in France and had to go back home to Australia to do the exact same thing. If I just had to go across to London or over the Atlantic or something, that would be fine, but Australia is
So far away and it is so expensive to fly back there.
I managed to avoid it when I moved from London to Paris, but they got me this time. To minimize costs, I took every possible risk in relation to this visa application. Upon getting this news, I booked my visa appointment in Sydney. I booked my 2 one-way flights there and back 2 months in advance. That was literally the cheapest way to get home. 2 one-way flights, arriving a week before my appointment and leaving 4 weeks after, giving myself a 1-week buffer beyond my 3-week processing time. I kept my apartment and left all of my belongings in Paris while I'm without a visa status there and have no guarantee of being able to move back. I just full committed to everything with the hope that it would all work out. It almost did. I also decided that I would not surprise my parents like last time. So the visa I'm applying for is called the Profession Libérale, effectively a freelancer visa, and I need to gather all the documents necessary for the interview I have scheduled in Sydney in 2 months' time. This video is not a guide, by the way, though if you want that, let me know in the comments, and if there's enough of you, maybe I'll do it, because this is super complicated. What I will say is that the hardest part of this visa is just figuring out everything you need for this in the first place. There is no official information about what you're supposed to prepare for this. All they say online is that you need more than 1 client and that you're making above minimum wage. That's it. Those are the base requirements. What it doesn't mention is what you're supposed to provide in order to prove that. Or things like a business plan, which everyone on Reddit talks about and the visa office expects. Once you get through that headache, you can move forward and get it all together. I spent the last 2 months of my working holiday visa gathering every little document I needed, in between enjoying every second I could in what could potentially be my last moments in Paris. And plenty of sessions with my friend Zoe combing through every word of my business plan to make sure everything made sense grammatically and there was every detail I needed. You can technically do this in either English or French, but I decided to write it all up in French since you are applying for a French visa and it shows you're putting the effort in, which is what they're really looking for. I put so much effort into this business plan. I feel like I put more work into this than my honors thesis. Once I got everything possible ready, it was time to make the leap and leave Paris. Indeterminately, indefinitely. And to take the cheapest possible way to Sydney, Australia, I took an overnight bus to Amsterdam and then flew from Amsterdam to Guangzhou in China, sprinted through the airport because they were late. Sydney? Yeah, thanks. Straight. And they decided to rush us through the airport, which was very appreciated. And that's how I kept my running streak, which was 281 days in a row at that point. There was so much going through my head. It was so strange to be saying goodbye to all my friends in Paris, wrapping everything up, with everything feeling like I was leaving the country forever and it possibly ending up being the case, but also with every intention of coming back in 5 weeks if it all worked out. Leaving my whole life behind on the other side of the world, all hinging on the biggest risk I've ever taken. Everything has to work out. There is no other option. I went from the heat of the European summer to the tail end of the Australian winter, literally raining more than I ever experienced living in London. But on the bright side, it helped a lot with staying at home, organizing and preparing all the paperwork I needed for the interview. Countless long nights, printing out every document necessary in multiple times in different formats, rereading through every page to make sure everything was addressed, everything was organized in the perfect order for the visa office to go through, and no stone was left unturned. Additional documents beyond the required ones, just in case they asked. This is my 5th visa application rodeo and my 2nd French one. So I was ready. And wildly, the first visa application I've had to go back to Australia to do ever since I left Australia for the first time 8 years ago. Nearly 9 by this point. But also, it's crazy to be back home in Australia for the first time in years and not even catching up with friends because I was so stressed and preoccupied with the primary mission of getting this visa. Once week 1 was over, it was time for the appointment. All these months of preparation and stress led up to this.
I'm here in Sydney, obviously, and in 44 minutes, I head in to start my visa appointment for my Profession Libérale visa, and I'm super nervous. I have literally everything I need, and the appointment's literally just handing over documents. But this is what the last 2.5 months of my life has been spent in preparation for, is this probably 1 hour appointment. So hopefully everything goes to plan. I know it's not that bad, but hopefully I'm not stuck here for this foreseeable future. Headed to my visa appointment now. Heart is racing. Let's just get this done. Just got out of the visa appointment. Contrary to the weather, honestly, could not have gone more smoothly. I have no problems. The lady processing my visa happened to live literally like 6 doors down from where I live right now. So hopefully that's a good sign.
That was literally the smoothest visa appointment I've ever had. But then came the wait. The first few days were totally fine. Nobody expects a response in the first couple of days or week. But then came day 9. My last French visa got approved in 9 days, so when I got no update at this point, I started to spiral and get worried. No matter how confident you feel post-appointment, the self-doubt inevitably creeps in. Not to mention I had the Sydney Marathon to do in a few days. What if I got rejected? The thoughts of what I had to do in the worst case scenario sent me spiraling. A depressing flight back to France only as a tourist, just to pick up and sell my things, say actual goodbyes, and sit on another super expensive flight back to Australia. I was not in a good state these days, and not sleeping. Then came day 11. It's been processed. The email just says, it's been processed and my passport is on its way back to the visa office for pickup. This is probably a good thing, or the visa application was so bad they had no choice but to reject it on site. Normally if there's something needing a slight clarification or a correctable mistake, they'll email you about it. So then I ran the Sydney Marathon, and then on the next day I came back to Sydney to pick up my passport. I got it. It all worked out. I cannot believe that worked. I won. The surge of relief that went over me, incomprehensible. My life in France continues. After getting the passport, no joke, I went straight to the airport, not to go back to France, but for an epic road trip across the entire continent, north to south, from Darwin to Adelaide. We found a mystery car rental for 11 days for $11. Don't ask me how, but it was by far one of the best adventures I have ever been on. If you want a video about it, let me know. I'm so glad I did it because it made the journey back home feel actually worth it beyond just the massive expense to get another visa. But now I have that adventure, I have that visa, a 1-year visa, but one that is renewable inside of France. Big difference to my last one. And now I'm back. Same apartment, same everything. I feel like the setting for this video may have spoiled that, but mentally it is such a strange feeling to be back in Paris after that roller coaster couple of months, mentally preparing yourself for the worst, expecting never to live in Paris again, the finality of it all. And then I got back to Paris and my brain is like, oh, back to life as normal, I guess. And it's like none of it ever happened. The way you just skip past it mentally is so bizarre to me. Because this was literally my entire year was preparing for this visa. But I'm back on my Profession Libérale visa, able to do exactly what I want. So, the cost. The total cost of all of it, visa-wise, in euros, getting back to Australia was €38 overnight bus to Amsterdam. Flight to Sydney was 425 euros. Flight back was 458 euros and 68 cents. Visa appointment was 71 Australian dollars, so 40 euros and 47 cents. When I did the appointment, there were a bunch of visa fees, which were 179.25 Australian dollars. I think there was a little bit of printing that they did there, which is 102 euros and 15 cents. The temps fiscal, which you pay after you arrive back in France to activate your visa, which is 200 euros, and that's it. So in total, 1,264 euros and 30 cents, 342 euros and 62 cents if I didn't have to go back to Australia to do it. So yeah, over 1,260 euros. Even with the flights, it's not crazy compared to what my visas for the UK would cost these days. It's just those flights being an unnecessary expense that I was forced to take. But how is it all going now, a few months into my new visa? Well, my main client has completely dried up on me and I'm quickly going broke. I'm trying absolutely everything I can to find new clients and getting some bits here and there, but I have about a month's left worth of money before this whole thing completely goes to hell and I am screwed. And the most frustrating thing is I would have been completely fine money-wise had I not had to go through all this with the Australia thing and had way more time to find more clients in the last couple of months of my visa had I not had to go through all this paperwork. I am really struggling right now and losing hope. Why am I telling you this? I'm honestly so sick of seeing videos on YouTube of rich Americans loaded up with savings, whether that's from mommy and daddy or their overpaid tech bro job, arriving here in Europe with their comfy safety net and talking about how it's all worked out for them with a bit of complaining about French bureaucracy here and there. It's not all sunshine, it is not easy, and it doesn't work out for everyone. It is really rough. Hopefully this video gets a decent amount of views so I can at least make some income off it. It's really frustrating to be in this situation because I worked so hard for this visa. Now that I'm back, the rug has been pulled out from under me and nothing seems to be going the right way. It's so hard and so conflicting because I'm so happy living in Paris, but I'm struggling so much at the same time. I'd rather be here than in London still. Even with all of this, I've been given this visa, this opportunity to make my life work here and have an actual shot of setting roots in this country, and it's suddenly gotten so much harder than I ever expected. I've had some really dark days recently. To be honest, I have been through worse and I'm kind of numb to everything by this point. I just need to somehow make it through the next month or two and get to the other side. If you have any leads for video editing work or photography, be it corporate video or social media or events or anything else, preferably a regular thing, let me know because I definitely need whatever leads I can get. Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm not gonna bother with any more update videos so I can just focus on other types of videos for my channel. These videos feel like such a waste of time and energy, but at the same time, I feel like I have to do them. Like the video if you enjoyed, and if you have any advice, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.